good. In that case, guys, welcome to the first episode of Metal Warrior, the show. How are you both doing?
Doing good. Doing great.
Very well.
Good.
Ready to, rock out with my, I'm going to open my beer. Cheers, you guys. Yeah, I'm having a secret Swami's from Pizza Port. A reasonably high alcohol IPA. This one I think is 6.7. Not crazy.
6.7. Sorry.
Let me just call out this beer as well that I'm drinking. I'm drinking Humble Expressions. It's El Segundo Brewing Company, which is fairly local to me. So cheers, Greg. I do like this brewery. Look at that! Who designed that can?
Who did this beautiful can design?
Ben, your voice just went up a couple pitches.
I do not have a radio voice. It's not. My voice isn't designed for radio.
Metal Warrior is a very three-dimensional world or universe, or Metal Warriorverse, that encapsulates metal music, graphic novels, and it just so happens to be that our four main characters are musicians. They came together through time, space, and dimension to play metal music and fight righteous battles, as is primarily covered in the 9-issue graphic novel story arc that Ben is a little more than halfway through right now. I saw some of his art. I said, I want to do this thing. And he submitted some stuff. And I said, that's really cool. Let's go with that. And then he came back with Pskydin. I'm like, I know who that is. I took one look at the illustration. And I'm like, I know that person. I know who they are. I know where they came from. I know what the backstory is. I know what the motivations is. And he's fucking angry. He is angry because he has so much trauma and everything in his childhood. Join the club. It all comes through that to the eventual conclusion of, catharsis through metal music.
Really amazing when somebody looks at your artwork and can kind of disseminate it and say, well, that's their motivation. That's who they are, which was great.
And without hopefully not sounding, a little cheesy here, but honestly, they just spoke to me. And interestingly to me anyways, I have found that when I write in the voices of our four band members, primarily in the voice of Quanndamm and Pskydin, it just flows because I understand where they're coming from, what they want to say, and what they want to try and get out and express with a given song.
A lot of our characters do speak to a lot of people, though. I mean, especially Pskydin. If you've started to read the comic books of Skydin's Descent, his troubles. Are very human, very real. Kids getting bullied at school, kids get, people being rejected by their family members. Those things are universal, whether it's a sci-fi epic or not. I see you a lot in Pskydin.
Except for the, powerful beast.
The muscles and the muscles.
Oh, come on. Hey,
Those are some I am shocked. I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm not that shocked, but damn, Greg.
Well, that's the advantage of being scrawny like I am. Just a little bit of muscle shows up really well.
How can you be impressed, though, Jared? You look like some kind of Viking.
Man. That just have layers in the beard.
If somebody saw you running down a mountain or something at them with an axe in their hand, I think they'd probably run away.
I mean, if someone saw me running down a mountain with an axe in my hand, they should run away because, I'm unhinged. Anyways, Greg, nice muscles, buddy. Those are really good. Did you do in the book and the characters before the music, or did you do the music first?
Yes. So essentially, they really, I described the process of when Ben first started presenting the artwork to me, and how the characters started flowing and I started understanding them very clearly. And it wasn't very long after we started developing the storylines that I told KK, that's Carrie Kelly, my musical partner in Metal Warrior. I told him about the project and a little bit about the characters and, kind of what my hopes and dreams for. And he was like, that's cool. I'd known KK and we'd been friends for a good 15 years at that point. But the idea of asking him to write music with me, it felt like he was so far beyond my pay grade. It was amazing that he was expressed interest in doing it. And what I, love about that process is that when KK and I get together, it flows really, really well. He does all the instrumentation. I might have a tiny little guitar lick here or there if he was even so courteous as to leave it in. If you did, KK, just don't tell me.
Yeah, that's totally yours.
And I would totally understand. But, the truth of the matter is, there's definitely some riffs in there that I have written, and I, clunkily show it to him on the guitar. And then he's like, oh, okay, man, you mean like this? And then my jaw drops because like, holy crap, that sounds great.
I can vouch for this as well because I've been in the recording studio or KK's place while this has been happening. So people who can produce like that, it is quite incredible to watch.
Ben, tell me about your musical history real quick.
I was in a pub band, like a punk band that played all the pubs in the local venues. Nothing famous, nothing out of the ordinary. We were called Hooked. And we were a skate punk band from about late 90s to mid 2000s. And then I had to pack it in to come to America.
Greg, have you always wanted to take on a musical project like this?
Well, I can't ever say like this, but I moved from small town, rural Ohio to Hollywood in the early 80s because I had dreams of being a heavy metal god. So I went to guitar school in Hollywood, and frankly, it was there that I really drove home that I didn't belong there. Actually, it took me a few years later because I still kept on with the dream. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would say, fuck it, it's okay, dude. Don't try to be Eddie Van Halen, Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai, right? Which is exactly where I set my sights, as like that's where I thought I should be. Ben here, he was out there doing it. Hell yeah. And I was not out there doing it because I set such a unrealistic, bar for myself that it just prevented me from ever doing anything.
If anybody's watching this, though, it doesn't matter how bad you are. Playing in a band and playing in front of people, even if it's in a pub or a bar or something like that, it's probably the most fun you'll ever have in your life. I've got so many great memories of playing in front of a load of people and having a few too many beers and it getting a bit raucous and those kind of things are just like there's such great memories.
I would 100% agree with you. So one, I took it I would say over serious, and then two, I was painfully shocked. I lived my life through my imagination and through my head. That was just who I was. But I don't think I could have changed me. That was my reality, my life journey, my story, my arc.
How do you think that served you, though?
I was an angry young man. I was, mercilessly picked on because I wanted so badly to be liked by the other kids in school. The two words could describe me. It was be try hard. I was a young man who just was bumbling his way socially.
I bet actually if today Greg could be like, here's a picture of me and Sarah and send that to high school Greg would be like, oh my God, it's all going to be fine.
I dated a shockingly large number of women. Shockingly large number of women. And yet it always seemed like I couldn't get a date to save my life. Okay, what does this have to do with Metal Warrior? I do not know.
Well, actually, it has a little bit to do with it because there's some crossover with Pskydin character where he's very lovelorn, kind of. He gets his heart broken very easily. I have never really fully let go of, and I don't want to ever let go of my angry young man. I am angry about injustices in the world. We get riled up and we see things that are going wrong. It's you gotta hold on to that edge, and I have actually never felt like I've lost that edge. But here I am, 61, and I still have no problem saying, fuck the man. And along the way, I'm gonna get together with some friends and we're gonna create a little mayhem, and maybe even make the world a better place at the same time. Yeah, I feel the same way. I've never really, I'm in my 50s now, and I've never really lost that punk rock attitude of just wanting to, sometimes getting so mad at things in the world and the state of things that you want to just smash everything.
Greg, who are some of your musical influences growing up that inspired you to do Metal Warrior?
It would be AC/DC. I mean, remember Highway to Hell and Back in Black when they came out, and I just listened to those things so much. Judas Priest. I would listen to Judas Priest nonstop, and then Pink Floyd.
What about graphic novel influences? What inspired the look and feel of the Metal Warrior universe?
Comic books have been with me all my life, really. I can remember being like 7 years old and reading comic books, like Judge Dredd, 2000 AD, Ghost Rider, and Punisher. Again, the more darker characters in those kind of universes. That's my sensibilities at about like 8-9 years old. I think one of the biggest influences on Metal Warrior is probably heavy metal comic books, but they have artists like Simon Bisley, and his artwork is so bloody and so great and so violent that has a massive effect, I think, on our.
Using AI at the cusp of when AI is being developed has been challenging to me as a filmmaker, not because I've caught a lot of flack for it, because of course I have, but I really feel like I'm able to tell stories at the level that Greg and Ben, that you guys envision them. And I think that by using AI like this, I think we've been able to visually get there in a way that I don't think you'd be able to otherwise without spending $1 million per music video, or a couple $100,000 at least.
I think that I don't want you coming out and saying that none of the illustrations or the music is AI. We just say Metal Warrior is 100% AI project. Is treated as all AI. We just gave it a few prompts and we sat back on a couch and we had another beer. That's how it's done, right? I mean, that's how AI is done. It just takes a few prompts, sitting on the couch, having another beer.
I know what you're saying, Greg. It's like I think the world thinks that AI is just pushing a few buttons and everything is just made. People are just going to assume that people push a few buttons, where, it takes me a long time to pencil out and draw comic books. I mean, it's a real labour of love. But that's not taking anything away from AI itself anyway, because I think Jared's videos are amazing, and the way that he's so quickly picked those techniques up. I remember us talking together, and you saying sort of, well, I've never done this AI stuff, but I'm going to have a go at it. The next thing I know, you've created like 4 or 5 AI videos, front to back.
Where Jared's strength is in storytelling, understanding how to put shots together, understanding how to assemble the pieces to bring forth not just story, but the feels, the emotion. In the We Belong video, when people are starting to gather and go to the concert via their whatever path they're taking, walking, riding a car, whatever it is, and you're starting to feel that build of energy that really translates. I mean, AI in music has been functionally around for a long time. I mean, come on, what is auto-tune? Auto-tune and pop music, but pop music is functionally algorithms. They bring the trends and they go forward, and it's all very innocuous to me. And even though KK and I aren't performing this stuff on stage, we're playing the stuff.
How do you want Metal Warrior to exist in this current landscape of music?
The fact is that on the charts, most of the heavy music is stuff that was created 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 years ago. Classic rock, I think, is a genre that almost shouldn't be allowed to exist. Put on your old records. I love that shit too. I want to hear some new stuff. Where do I go to hear new stuff? When I was in high school, I wasn't listening to 40 and 50-year-old music. Say, Bring Me the Horizon, or some of these newer bands. There's not that collective awareness that Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. And so that's a sad thing, but that is the long tail world that we're living in. And that long tail, proverbial long tail, it just got worse with AI. Because kids are going to just be making their own stuff, music that you maybe couldn't have made otherwise. But every hour that a kid, spends doing that is an hour they're not listening to a band or maybe learning how to play an instrument, which is sad.
That's interesting.
That's such an important thing, right?
I haven't actually thought about the effect of kids not picking up an actual tactile instrument and playing it, because if the goal is I would like to create a song, they can go create a song, as opposed to like, oh no, I either have to know somebody or I have to learn it or I got to find my friend who's really good at the guitar.
A little side story, I was actually Steve Vai's official photographer for a period of time, because at the first show I was taking pictures. His manager approached me, said, hey, when you get those developed, which is kids when you take film and get it. But okay, so the story that I really wanted to tell, though, is when you go to a Steve Vai show, you see all these guys like this, because the room was full of guitar players going, how the fuck is he doing that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how's he doing? And then he does this, oh shit. In today's world, who's going to be staring at the acrobatic fretwork that somebody's doing? I mean, your rando pop act with a 1.5 minute auto-tuned song is getting way more views.
I think AI is going to make things so much easier for everybody that we are going to forget how to just learn how to pick up a guitar and play it. pick up a pencil and actually draw something. These things are going to affect not our generation, but maybe the generations coming up, because there may be a point where we lose a lot of this.
Yeah, one of my favorite James Hetfield quotes is a very simple one. Everybody needs somebody to look up to or chase after. And
love that.
I love those guys, and fuck them. I'm gonna try and beat them too. In craft beer, I very much had that. I had my heroes in craft beer, but I also was very happy when their tap came off and my tap handle went on in the pub.
I think live music will save the day, though. I mean, there's nothing like seeing a band live and everybody's moshing and everybody's drinks are flying, and there's no experience like it. And so I think I think that will, again, rock and roll will save us all.
I think we just need to be part of that voice, part of the alternate voice, part of the real voice, part of the thing that's saying, look, we've got some art. We realize that the old model is functionally dead, realizing this, but still feeling like we have something to contribute. And I'm very proud of the music that we have created, the storylines and then the art Ben has created, and the videos that you have done, Jared, to help bring that out through another medium.
Metal Warrior feels like quite a modern kind of take on not just heavy metal, but just the industry in general, because we're using AI, we're using traditional methods. We're trying to kind of exist in the modern world, I think, and these characters developed and we developed this universe.
I had a very simple philosophy at Stone. I just wanted to make sure that if somebody ever picked up one of our beers and decided to make that purchase risk, they would just simply think to themselves, maybe not even consciously, I'm glad I did that. I would do that again. It's our job to represent ourselves in music and in art, and we say, yep, that's worthy of being birthed out into the world. And with a lot of things, sometimes it takes, some of my favorite bands, my first exposure to Primus, I'm like, what the hell? And I gave it a chance. I am such a Primus fan.
Yeah, Primus, Queen, those bands, they're not first listen bands. Yeah.
I would say, though, that Metal Warrior is a first listen band. Metal Warrior is one of those infectious kind of music where you're like, oh shit, this is good from start to finish. I don't think it's one of those where it's like Marmite.
I absolutely love Marmite. It's like
God, you fucking weirdo.
Every single day for breakfast. Vegemite I can't stand. Vegemite tastes weird. It's like garlic and balls or something like that. It's just...
Ben is getting more animated now than any other product.
Shouldn't have said Marmite.
Do we have any questions?
What is next for the band, and what's next on the musical horizon for Metal Warrior?
So KK and I, we've got 3 songs that we have through about 80% of the way, and I'm looking very forward to finishing them. We're still promoting a double album.
Well, I can give everybody a what's next in the AI video. The Malachite Smash music video is what is coming up next. I feel like every time I release one of the music videos, it's the best thing I've done, because we really are right on the precipice of what AI is capable of. This has definitely been one of those videos that has spanned a couple different leaps in the AI process and what AI is capable of doing. So I'm just trying to push it.
The last video, that was really, really close to the
really close. I mean, dude, that has been one of the toughest things. Now it's like I can get our characters looking how they're meant to look most of the time, but working with AI is kind of like working with a crew, but imagine your entire crew didn't do the right thing 98% of the time. You couldn't really talk to them about what they did wrong. You just kind of had to ask them in a different way and hope they do it right because you asked them a different way. Man, it makes me sound crazy. That's why I'm crazy. That's why I look.
When that video is ready to go, we need to do an episode on that video, on the graphic novel, in that graphic novel, that song, Malachite Smash. It's really fascinating how we were able to weave them together so that the story of that song is the main thrust of that graphic novel.
In fact, I think that one's the closest one to the record, like on beat for beat, like the closest to the record of any of them.
This is definitely the closest music video that is like canon accurate. We added the human element into it at the beginning.
You really added some human feels into it. And you're bringing this, sort of our almost a protagonist. Would you call the kid a protagonist?
Sort of. I mean, he's you and me and every sort of lead character in every early Steven Spielberg movie. It's like I just wanted somebody to represent a youthful perspective, letting music take them on an adventure.
Are we going to get to see sort of alien crowds?
Yes, we finally get to. Actually, that's funny. Maybe I'll throw it in when I edit this. But I had a breakthrough shot today. I finally got this shot where Pskydin and Quan are going through the portal and turning into like illustrated, because we were going again for that sort of like old-timey Disney's like cartoonification of real people type of going through a portal and now you're a cartoon type of thing. So anyways,
what's that Don Knotts film where he turns into a fish?
the Mr. Limpet, the incredible Mr. Limpet.
Cool World.
Cool World
did it. Yeah, absolutely. And of course,
Next week, if we talk about the music videos a little bit, we should do an homage to MTV, who just aired their last music video.
Cable took it from TV and YouTube took it from cable. And now I think AI is probably going to take it from YouTube. It may take a few more years.
I do too.
But I really fear for our planet and our societies once AI porn really takes, we'll jump right into that primal center.
I was in that age where you still like treated like finding a Playboy was quite literally like finding like treasure.
I can still remember finding, girly magazine in a field.
Yeah, dude, that's that country kid driving down the road and being like, I think I saw a boob. I'm going to cut that out so nobody knows I slammed on my brakes on a country road one time, because like I know a nipple when I see it driving 50 miles an hour on a dirt road.
Well, that means that it's time to wrap up this episode.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Metal Warrior Show.
Cheers,
awesome.
Ben.
Cheers.
Jared.
Later, guys. Jared. Cheers.
Let me do that one more time, because I'm not joking. A fly landed on my forehead while we were doing that.
You're definitely going to include that, and I just drank my last sip, so you don't get to do a retake. That was the sign off for real, and the fly landed on your head. You can be just like Mike Pence.
That's just how it goes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Adam.